Good morning, students. So, in last class, we saw the background behind Julius Caesar, what is tragedy, the tragic hero. So, today we are going to the next scene in Act 3. So, today we'll go line by line. Let me know when you're able to see the screen. Students, are you able to see the screen? So, yes, so last class we saw the background. Before that, we saw Act 3, Scene 1. So we already know who is Caesar, who is his enemy, what is the background, why Shakespeare wrote about it, all that we discussed in the last class. So today we are going to look at the speech. Just before the speech we saw in last class, Brutus also gave a speech. So he starts with, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones." The word interred here means dies or gets destroyed. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously has Caesar answered it. So here the word friends has a lot of meaning, because the crowd is against Caesar. The crowd is supporting the people who kill Caesar because Brutus is highly respected. The noble Brutus, that's what he says. The word noble, why is he saying? He's indirectly saying, hey, I might be a friend of Caesar, but I am not against Brutus. I also think Brutus is noble, just like you guys. So he's very smart. He knows the crowd is not willing to listen to what Mark Antony is going to say. They are right now siding with Brutus and the gang that killed Caesar, right? So he starts with friends. He's calling Brutus noble. Okay, and this here is a very key word, ambitious. So like we saw in the last class, Shakespeare's tragedy has a tragic hero. Here we have Julius Caesar. Caesar's tragic flaw was this: he was ambitious. So we'll further discuss about it. So ambitious means his enemies became very jealous of his power. That is what it means. Okay, so here he's indirectly telling to the crowd, you guys are right, Caesar was trying to becoming too powerful. But indirectly, that is not the only single meaning. There's another hidden meaning. Ambitious means not against you guys, not against countrymen, not against friends, against other powerful people who became jealous. So that we come to the later. The second meaning he will stress in the end. But right now he's straight cut. He's more or less kind of saying, hey, I also believe with you. Brutus is noble. Okay. So now let's analyze this play, this entire scene before we go further. This Mark Antony's funeral oration is like a game changer, right? It's the most important speech in the play and affects the development of the play. It changes the entire play. What happens next entirely different from what had happened before. But like we saw in the class before the last class, scene 1 prepares us for the Antony rhetoric. Okay. Before that we had Brutus's speech also, so he'll keep using some words. Here he calls Brutus noble. If you go further down, he'll call Brutus honorable. So those words are very important. We'll look into it again. Let's continue for now. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus an honorable man. So here straight away saying, thank you Brutus for letting me speak. So already crowd is not willing to listen. If you look in your textbook, the plebeian, first plebeian, second plebeian, the audience, they are not willing to listen to Mark Antony straight away. So to prepare that ground, he's starting with that. So that's very smart. He start with not something new. Start with what you all believe. You think Caesar was ambitious, so he was grievous. So it means it was Caesar's fault. He deserved to die. That is what he starts with. So then they say, yes, let's hear to Mark Antony speak. Okay, now it becomes a little more interesting. Here, under the leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. So here there's a very important word, and in the exam they might ask you what figure of speech is being used here. We'll quickly discuss that. Let's complete this paragraph before we discuss this. Come I in to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. So now see, again already there is a change. First he says Caesar was ambitious. Now says Brutus says Caesar is ambitious. So is he asking the crowd, was Caesar ambitious? Is Caesar wrong? So slowly the tone is changing. So keep note of that, how it keeps changing. And Brutus is an honorable man. Brutus is honorable. So if Brutus is saying he's ambitious, then he must be ambitious. Is he? So is he being genuine, or is there some figure of speech, some hidden meaning here? That's what we want to see. All of you also think. You tell me first. Anyone? He has brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransom did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. So by now, you all, those of you who understood what is happening here, you know that ambitious is not a genuine word. Okay, so again discuss here how Antony explains that Caesar was not ambitious. That is what this paragraph is. Before we go to that, we'll look at the important words and figurative language. This is very important from your exam point of view. Please note it down. So first one, the honorable that we're talking about. So it is, we call it irony. So underline the word, and your textbook also write the word irony. Because killing someone is not honorable. It's a dishonorable act. How can you call murderers honorable? So here it's sarcasm also. It doesn't sound like sarcasm initially, but when it keeps on using the same word, Caesar was good only, but Brutus is saying Caesar was ambitious. Brutus is an honorable man. So here, the one who killed Caesar, could he be honorable? Or is killing a dishonorable act? If killing a dishonorable act, then Brutus is not honorable. So what is irony? Irony equals to what you say is opposite of the real meaning. Example, student scores 20 out of 100. Don't write the example in notebook. Out of 100. Teacher says, wow, क्या बात है, आप तो Einstein हो. So here the literal meaning is, wow, you're a genius. But that is not what the teacher means. What the teacher means is the opposite, that you're a duffer or something like that. Okay, that's a very crude example, but I know that is how you guys will find it interesting. So that is the kind of language or style Mark Antony uses. Okay, so again, if you come here, the word honorable, we already discussed. So killing someone is a dishonorable. So there's an irony. So Mark Antony deliberately uses this irony. Then we also saw that important word ambitious. So if you look at this para, he gives reasons why Mark Antony gives a reason why according to him, Caesar was not ambitious. What are the reasons? So when he won the wars and he earned a lot and plundered a lot, the loot from the war, whose advantage? What actually Caesar did, we saw in the last class. He helped the poor by ransom. That's about ransom. Whose ransom did the general coffer? If someone had a debt or loan, they say, okay, loan is filled now. Loan is waived off now. You don't have to repay it. For 1 year, you don't have to pay the loan. Like that, we saw in the previous class, what all Caesar did for the people. So we'll not again get into that. But these also shows that he was not ambitious. Again, we have the same word here. So he's trying to prove, was he really ambitious? If Brutus thinks he's ambitious, Brutus thinks Caesar is ambitious, Brutus says Caesar is ambitious, but was Caesar ambitious? So he's trying to confuse the crowd. Okay. Okay, now this word thrice is also important, same as the previous paragraph. This is proof that he did not want a kingly crown. I thrice present him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? So this continues. He's trying to confuse the crowd. Ki, is Brutus wrong? Maybe Caesar was not ambitious. Maybe the killers were bad people, and if that is the case, we should attack Brutus and Cassius and the killers. So that is the aim. We know that, the story. But let's see how it unfolds. So he's an honorable man. Okay, now let's look at, like just we saw figure of speech. What are the figure of speech we saw? One is honorable, being irony, and a second one is orator, that we come to it at the later, and Caesar's angel. Here it's a metaphor. Let's look at that first, and then we look at allusions and symbols. First, let's look at Caesar's angel. So he reminds the crowd that Brutus was Caesar's angel. Okay, Brutus killed Caesar, fine. But who was Brutus? When Brutus was alive, Brutus was Caesar's angel, best friend. So best friend killing another best friend, no matter what political reason, is it justified? So he reminds that. So here why it's a metaphor? Because the word angel, when you say Caesar was like an angel, that will be simile. When you have like, but here was angel, but he was not really an angel. Here the meaning was he's a good friend. The word angel equals to best friend or something like that. So angel is like, so you are always next to Caesar, protecting him, an ally. That's what Caesar thought. So here there's a metaphor. Metaphor is a very important figure of speech. So you can underline Caesar's angel, come down, underline Caesar's angel, and write down over there in a pencil, metaphor. And if you don't know what is metaphor in notebook, also write down what is a metaphor. Okay, so lion is a symbol of strength. Strong lion. If I call Aslan a strong lion, that's also metaphor. Okay, or let's say in your class, Himanshu is a strong lion. He's not a lion though. Okay, Himanshu is a lion. What I mean here is Himanshu's song. Okay, lion is a symbol of strength, so it's a metaphor. Okay, so that's a metaphor. So let's look at one more figure of speech. If you look at my notes here, there is one called I am no orator as Brutus is. Okay, we'll look at that also. That is by now very clear. Where is orator? Come down again, almost near the end. Yeah. Here he says, I am no orator as Brutus is. Okay. This is also very important. So this word is very important. So he's saying Brutus is an orator, but Brutus is wrong. If I were Brutus, if I were an orator, then you guys would have supported me. But I am not an orator. So you guys will not support me, and the people who killed Caesar, they will be go unpunished. So that's what he's trying to say. Okay, now let's look at symbols and allusions. Okay, number one is Caesar's coffin. Okay, that is very easy. My heart, O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beast, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me, my heart is in the coffin. There is Caesar, and I must pause till it comes back. So my heart is in the coffin is very easy to understand. That it's symbolic that my heart is not physically in the coffin. I am crying with Caesar. I am so sad my friend is dead. So that is very easy one. This one is more interesting. Brutus's knife represents betrayal and unkindness as explained by Antony when he states. So there's a word called dagger. Okay. Go down your notebook, underline this also. Whose daggers have stabbed Caesar's? Okay. So this dagger is also symbol. Okay, so they are like daggers. So these people, they've stabbed Caesar. Whose daggers? These people. Murder, daggers, very symbolic of violence. Okay, it's not just killing. They killed with knife. It's not like bomb or poisoned. Okay, so that's a symbol and an allusion. So it deliberately uses this imagery. So what is an allusion? What is the difference between allusion and symbol? So allusion is a figure of speech in which an object or circumstance from unrelated context is referred to covertly or indirectly. It is left to the audience to make a direct connection. So it deliberately uses these words and creates an imagery in the minds of the audience. So whenever he uses the word dagger, they'll think of a dagger being stabbed into Caesar. So they'll become more angry. So that is very interesting. Allusions are a little bit difficult. So write down the definition for allusion also. So Caesar's dagger is an allusion and symbol. Brutus's knife and the coffin. Okay. Okay. So we'll just end for today's class and continue for line by line the next class. So let's quickly look at the themes and motives. Honor and betrayal. Okay, so basically everybody understands friendship. Killing a friend is different from just killing. Political scenario, winning, losing, wars, all this keep happening, but Brutus was a friend. So Mark Antony is smart enough to play that angle. So we will look at the et tu brute line also in the next class. So that is also very important lines.